They have not done that.
And what about the Ministry of Defence's counsel, terming these chaos as characteristic of something that has been experienced in the country before, and that this situation falls squarely in a situation of emergency, that in such a state of emergency, this kind of deployment has in fact been done before. So this is not a unique case where, for instance, the Ministry of Defense has had to come out and rather pull such a move.
I think, Lillian, there is some dishonesty with the Ministry of Defense and the government at large, the executive arm, because when such a scenario happens, there is no need of secrecy. We are living in this nation unless something has happened outside what we have been seeing, or unless there is something that we are not being told. There has been no reason of requesting or even deploying the KDF.
Right.
And what happened, maybe they think in their wisdom was so much, is maybe the occupation of the National Assembly by protesters on Tuesday. And whereas that has never happened in this country, where such an institution has been occupied by protesters, the government should also ask themselves, how did this happen? How did we get here? And after asking that question, because the government and at large the executive specifically, they had the benefit of intelligence, of National Intelligence Service, they ought to have known this would happen. And it is not actually a matter of National Intelligence Service, Lillian, because it was actually in the public domain. Everybody was saying, there was actually a hashtag Occupy State House. So therefore, the government knew that these people are actually intending to finally reach State House. But they ought to tell us, is the National Police Service incapable? Were they overwhelmed? That is the actual thing that they need to tell us. Right.
And, the High Court has certified this as urgent, this petition filed by the Law Society of Kenya. We are still waiting to hear what exactly the ruling on this issue is. But in terms of the LSK's argument that the country may be receding into a police state, in layman's language, elaborate to us what that translates into.
We are actually fearing that we would say in terms of percentage, 30%, 40% we are almost a police state. The reason I am saying that before I explain what that is, the government, or through the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, did actually deploy the military. And we have actually seen them today in the streets. At some point, they were near National Stadium. At some point, they actually made their way into the city and they made rounds. I don't know whether they are back or whether they are waiting for the ruling by Justice Mugambi. But a police state is not